If you are looking forward to hosting live events and you want to make sure people actually buy a ticket and show up to your live event, then this episode is gonna rock your socks. We are diving into how to fill your live events with just a few strategic emails. So let's get started. Welcome to the Grow Your Business for Good show. This is a place where coaches and consultants gather so you can learn how to lead a world-class business that does not tax your time, your energy, or your financial resources. We are your hosts, M. Shannon Hernandez
and Amy Hager of the Joyful Business Revolution. And our number one goal is to bring you clarity and insight on how to grow your business for good.
Amy, we got an event coming up in Miami called Content Creation on Location. And we're going to be taking people behind the scenes today of how we send a few strategic emails to fill our events, get our community excited. So what's the first thing you want to dive into today?
Well, first, I just want to make sure that we're super clear. We are talking about live in-person events. People are together in a room. Humans are interacting in a community. It's not just you putting butts and seats into a room. So we want to make sure we're approaching this with the right energy. And it's people who really want to be there and want to be in community. They want to be around you and your expertise and the other speakers and the other people in the room. But a lot of times people will just go at their marketing strategy for an event of, oh, I just want butts and seats.
It's such bad energy.
I don't want my butt in your seat if you just want butts and seats.
Nope. I want your whole self with your heart, your soul, and not just your butt cheeks.
I love this. So Amy, the energy is right.
Yeah, I love this. Amy and I are super excited. We are slowly but surely coming back from pandemic times. And we are hosting more and more live events every single year. And this year, April 25th through the 27th, we are headed to Miami for content creation on location. And we are hosting an immersive story experience to really get people into the energy of building community and sharing stories that are relatable. And in all of their marketing, whether it's email marketing, social media marketing, from speaking from a stage, your podcast interviews. And so we're really going to deconstruct for you how we go about sending a few strategic emails to our email community and personal invitations, and how we get these tickets sold so we can get on to planning the fun stuff of the event once we know there are people coming. So Amy, one of the biggest questions we get, which I think is where we should start, is how early should I start promoting my event?
So I say as soon as you have a date and a location, get that out on the internet. Get it on your website, put in some social media. People need time to plan. And so they have kids, they need to get childcare, they got to move clients or appointments, they've got to book flights, hotels. I say as soon as you know the date and the location, get it on your website. As soon as you have the pricing figured out, start talking about it. You can really build the rest of your agenda as you're building this and as you're gaining interest. And I think Shannon said a very important part. We want to make sure people actually want this thing and are going to attend this thing.
So actually, let me back up for a minute. So anytime I'm thinking of hosting anything, but here we're talking about live events, all right? I will go on social media or I will send an email to my list and it's short. Hey, I'm thinking about hosting an event in April all around story, using story to sell, using story in your marketing, whatever that positioning is. Would you be interested in this? And we call this a hand raiser campaign. We teach this with all of our clients. But this is so important to, one, validate if people are even interested in what it is you're talking about. But the second reason, and we're going to talk about this, is this becomes our personal outreach list. It becomes the very first group of people that we say, hey, you said on this post, or you responded to this email that you would be interested in this event that we're hosting in Miami. We now have all the information for it. Would you like to go ahead and grab your ticket early? And wow, talk about, it's a boost, right? It's a boost for a lot of things. And if you've ever hosted live events, live events can range from a couple people to hundreds and thousands of people, right? You've got to find what's right for you, but getting those first few ticket sales in the door just shifts the energy. So Amy, can you talk a little bit about strategy we teach all of our clients, whether you're doing live events or not, but it's this strategy of list of 25 and sending personalized emails and invitations.
I think it's so important when we look at our events as Heartfelt is inviting someone over to your house for a dinner. And you want to make sure that you're inviting the right people over for dinner, right? You don't want people who are going to clash or who aren't going to enjoy the dinner. You know, if you're having a big pasta dinner, you can't invite your gluten-free friend, right? And so I really look at the personal invitations for your event as making that personal invitation to come over for dinner. And it's so important. Again, I think I've said the word personal maybe 100 times in the last 30 seconds. Why do you think I should be at this event? What triggered you to think about me? So that hand raiser campaign that we've already done to get an idea if people are actually interested in this is a great first step. But you do need to go through your Rolodex in your brain of all the people that you do know that are on your email list, that are in your community, and reach out to them one-to-one. And I know we want to focus a lot of our energies on mass email and trying to reach more people and being visible in front of a lot of people. But when you create this list of 25 to make personal reach outs to invite to your event, a lot of times those are going to be the first people who end up buying tickets. Or they're also going to invite friends because you've really resonated with something on their heart. So I think it's a great first strategy. As soon as you get that sucker on the website and that link to purchase is ready to roll, let's get out to your personal invitations and your list of 25.
I love that. So specifically, we're going to talk about our event in Miami and what we've done. So first we did a hand raiser campaign. Then we did personal invitations, which Amy just covered. And then I always run a 2-week window of early bird pricing. All right. I keep it short. I keep the window short. I keep the savings big. In this case, we offered a $500 off the ticket if they got it before the deadline. And true transparency, y'all, we did this during the Christmas season and we moved our first 8 tickets, right, in early bird. Because the people who want to be there are the people who want to be there. They're going to make it happen, right? They're going to get the ticket. They're going to take advantage of the early bird. And so really, I would say come up with some great terminology and messaging. If you need that help, reach out to us. But it's this, what I call early bird and late bird. We got the early bird pricing, and we've got the late bird pricing, and keep the window short. All right. The longer you give people, to really, think about it and do all these things that they think they need to do, the longer the ticket sales drag out. But I also want to say what Amy said at the top of this episode. It's really important to give people enough time that if they do have kids, they do have childcare, they can start talking and say, hey, mom, are you available X date so you can come take care of the kids? I want to go to this thing, right? So I was sharing with Amy, the 2-week window felt really good for me and my audience. I got invited to an event and it was 48 hours for me to think through all the logistics of getting wherever I needed to get the early bird. And I politely passed on the event because I just couldn't even wrap my head in 48 hours around, okay, when was it? Where am I going? And I don't even have kids to think about. I've got a cat.
Our cats and our spouses. And, that 48 hours is in my expert opinion of doing events for national organizations, local organizations, this brand, you name it. give them a couple weeks time to really think about it and really plan and get their act together. But you don't want to give them too terribly long, because then it's just another price point and it really doesn't create that urgency and excitement. The other thing too is from those first conversations that also can help influence the future messaging of this event.
Yes, absolutely.
From those conversations. I always say the best way to do messaging is through conversations. You get clearer when you talk about your things. So let that influence the future promotions and the future marketing. And, Shannon's a real genius at creative campaigns, and it always cracks me up. Some of the things she comes up with, I don't know how Shannon comes up with this stuff, to be honest. And so, Shannon, what's a creative campaign that you're excited about for our Miami event about content creation?
Yeah. So one of my favorite ways to fill events is a simple 5 reasons you want to attend this event, or 10 reasons. It depends how long you want the emails to go out. I'm going to do 10 reasons to attend content creation on location. And we've developed a graphic for each of the 10 reasons. So it's minimal email copy. It's going to be a graphic. And then, hey, do you have your ticket yet? Which they won't, because we're going to segment to the people that haven't bought their ticket yet, right? We're not going to send these to the people.
Yes.
Yeah. We're not sending these to the people that already bought their ticket. All right. And it's got a fun picture. You can feel the energy of what's going on. And so I'll just read a couple of the
I was going to say, what are the fun tips or 10 reasons why you should attend? I'm curious.
Yeah. So number 4, I'll just pick them randomly, is story showcases your passion and authenticity. Join us for content creation on location. Right. Okay. And then the next one will be
revolutionize your messaging and marketing with story.
Hop on over to joyfulbusinessrevolution.com/65 story ideas to grab a resource that will help you craft stories that grow your community, convert prospects to clients, and increase your visibility and impact. Tip number 5 is story encourages others to lean in to what's being said, right? So I've come up with kind of these one-liners to put on a graphic, and either myself or Amy are on these graphics, or both of us. And it's just this personal. Some emails I might tell a little bit of a story. Some I can kind of just get away with sending the graphic out as a standalone with a call to action. But this is such a fun way to build a campaign around your event and get the hype up around your event, and get the energy out around your event, right? Because event people want to go to events. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We do. I just spent an hour with our joy-fueled business growth students, sharing with them, like, they were all the people in there today were live in person. Like, if you're a live in person content personality and you go to live events, you're going to leave with clients. So your part of your marketing strategy should be getting out and about and getting to events, right? Because that's just the energy that we bring and the energy that we show up with. It's where we shine. So Amy, what are some ways that we can get people excited about the event? We've been talking a lot about our Miami event. What are some things we can share? There might even be some listeners that are like, ooh, I want to know more about the Miami event.
So I think we tend to sometimes focus a lot on like what you're going to learn at the event. I think that's important, but take us behind the scenes of, well, why did this event come together? Who are these speakers? Where did they come from? Talk about picking the venue. For the Miami event, it's really awesome because Alan, who we are co-hosting this event with, has a beautiful space, a community space in his apartment. So we're actually like gonna go to Alan's house basically and host an event. And, talk about the food, the snacks, if you're really tying into local cuisine and really tapping into what's in the community. And of course, I want you to talk about the speakers. I want you to talk about what they're going to present and the transformations that are going to be created. And really talk about the activities. What are you going to learn about being at the event, being in community, being in conversation, and being around all these great people? So I think just a few ideas out there. And I'm just curious if listeners have any other ways that they get people excited about their event. Shoot them over to us. I'd be super curious on what's working for you, but I know that's what works really well for our audience.
Yeah. And I think that with any kind of event, we need to give it time. Okay. I know we all want like the tickets to sell out right away. And there's very few people I know that actually do that. I mean,
Right.
they might be saying they do it, but I know these people, like, they're not actually like doing that. There's many phases to this, right? But if you're strategic in your approach with your email and you're strategic about, not only what they're going to learn, but these things, for example, I sent an email out to somebody. I'm like, hey, we've secured the local coffee and the local pastries, and we are ready to see you in Miami. And the person replied and said, you had me at coffee and snacks. Right? And I was like, wow, that was super simple.
Yes.
But like, I would have never early on in my event days thought that coffee and snacks would get somebody excited, but it did. It totally got them excited.
Also, how many events have we been to where the coffee and the snacks sucked?
Totally stop. Y'all, you get to do your events like you want to, and you get to fill them with the people that you want to. And listen, I can't say this enough. You being relatable with your emails, and you being relatable in the stories you share, and you being relatable, like if you freaking had a really hard time getting the venue, talk about it. Talk about why you pursued that, or why you ditched a venue that wasn't like good for your community. We've had to do that, right? And then we were scrambling around to find another one, but people love the realness of it. They love the behind the scenes, and they love knowing that you are going all in for them so that when they show up, they can get the transformation that your event is promising.
And so when we talk about activities, can you give us an example, Shannon, of some of the activities that we're featuring for our Miami event so that people have an idea of what we actually mean by activities?
Yes, I love this. So one of the things that I'm most excited about is we are going to put you with a partner. Introverts, this is friendly for you, I promise. And we are going to send you around a piece of Miami, just a couple block radius of where we are, for a story scavenger hunt. Because Amy, Allen, and I believe that story is a part of our everyday lives. I teach a framework called so you'll go on your story scavenger hunt, and we're going to do a story workshop. And then we're going to talk about how to take one story, one photo from your phone, and craft a story from it for your marketing. This is something I've been teaching for years. It's something people love. And with that, we're going to talk about the messaging and how you create and craft narratives that pull in your buyers, right? So that psychology of messaging piece. Everything at this event is experiential. Everything at this event is meant to help you learn how to tell better stories, see stories around you, and transform the stories into money-making marketing, which is what I'm so freaking excited about. So, Amy, can you give them the link in case they are interested in the Miami Story event? I would love to share that. I've got it here. So it's joyfulbusinessrevolution.com/story immersion. One thing I want you to know, this is going to take you straight to a Google Doc, y'all. You're going to be like, what the heck is this? This is a Google Doc. And what I'm going to tell you is we do build many of our offerings and programs into a Google Doc. All right. And you don't need to spend tons of time wasted on building out website and graphics and all of that. People need the info for your event, and they need it to be easy. All right. So we've made it super easy for you. All right. Last thing I want to talk about here, and you're so good at this. tell people our secret of a clicker strategy.
Yeah. So this is one of my favorite, especially since we're talking about email and how to utilize email to fill your events and have humans come interact with you in community. The cool way to next level your efforts, right, is once you do send out a mass email communication, look and see who clicked on the link for your event. And if they haven't registered, reach out with a personal question of, hey, Shannon, I noticed you were interested and you were looking at our event in Miami, but you haven't registered yet. Do you have any questions? If I know them, I definitely talk about like why I think it will be good for them to be there. But if you don't know the people yet on your email list, that's okay. There's new people joining our list every day, and I get it. Ask them if they have any questions and offer to answer their questions. I invite people to come on an event chat with me because I like to be on Zoom and be able to talk through people's worries, concerns, logistics, anything along those lines. So I usually also invite them to just grab a time on my calendar just for a quick chat about it. But at least offering to answer any questions and asking why they haven't registered yet, again, is going to be great influencing for your messaging going forward.
Absolutely. And the last little strategy we want to talk about in terms of your email is if you've collected emails, which you have if you're doing email marketing, all right, there are ways that you can zero in on, in this particular case, we're getting ready to email just the people who live in Florida. Now, I do realize Florida is a very long state.
Right.
But there's been a lot of people who couldn't wait for us to come to their state, to come to the area. We've got people flying in from Canada for this event. So I figure if someone's flying from Canada, somebody can drive from the top of Florida. Like, this is okay. So, using your email community and those specific to the location of your event is super important. The other thing I want to say, and this will be the final point, I promise, I'm just like on fire today, is I am going to email those 8 people who bought a ticket, and I am going to ask them to reach out to 3 of their friends who they know would love to be there. And I'm going to give them a special discount code for their friend, right? So it's like an invitation plus it's a gift of a discount. All of this, y'all, assumes that you have priced your event profitably and you can offer early birds and discounts. All right. And we are a whiz at helping you price events so that you walk into the event with a profit and you don't have to sell your ass off at the event, because talk about wonky energy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. And and some people, that is their strategy, just to get people in the room and try to sell them. And what I'll say,
pause. Those are the butts in seats people.
I was going to say that's the butt and seat energy that I don't love. And what I'll say about our event in Miami is after you spend those 2.5 days with us, we're going to have a real conversation on your next best steps. I'm not going to force you in the back of a room before you can even leave to buy something from me. That is not the energy that we're putting out here at the Joyful Business Revolution. So you're going to leave with content that you can actually use. You can go back and hit the ground running. You don't have to go back and think about it and how to implement these things. Like, you're actually getting work done while you're there. And those are the events that we love to host. So, I don't like that wonky butt and seat energy at all.
Yeah. So before we close out this episode, I do want to say one more time, if you're interested in the event, you want to kind of see how we lay out events, you want to see the interactiveness of the event, the URL is joyfulbusinessrevolution.com/story immersion, right? And Amy, let them know what's coming up on our next episode.
So we just talked a lot about a live in-person event and how to market it. And so our next episode, let's talk about online events. So the energy, like I said, is a little bit different. So your strategy has to shift a little as well when you're hosting an online event. And so we are going to talk next time about emails to supercharge your online events. Until then. Bye-bye.
Adios.
Thank you for listening to the Grow Your Business for Good podcast with your hosts, M. Shannon Hernandez and Amy Hager.
Come on over to the joyful side of business and marketing. Go to www.joyfulbusinessrevolution.com and remember our mantra. If it ain't joyful, we ain't doing that shit.
If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this show, leave a review, and spread the good news with other coaches and consultants.
Adios.